I was in the Fulton County Recorder's office when I found out my stepmother had sold my father's house behind my back. The clerk's window had a thin crack near the speaker hole, like even the glass had heard too many families fall apart. The transfer deed was still warm from the printer, but my father Samuel Carter's original deed was folded inside my purse. And Marlene Carter had made one mistake. She forgot Noah and I were not children anymore. We were witnesses, and our mother Evelyn Carter had taught us one thing before grief made the house quiet. Never argue with a liar when the paperwork can speak. The woman behind the glass looked at me over the top of her readers and said, "Miss Carter, are you sure you're listed on the original?" I did not answer right away. I looked down at the printed transfer document sitting between us. The ink was dark, the signatures were neat. The notary stamp sat in the corner like a little blue crown. Everything about it looked official, and that was the most dangerous part. Lies that look sloppy get questioned. Lies that look professional get filed. My father's name was Samuel Carter, I said. The property is on Briar Glen Road, whose name tag read Celia Warren, typed slowly into her computer. Her nails tapped the keys with the patience of someone who had watched too many people realize that family can become a crime scene without leaving blood. She frowned. Then she looked at me again. There was a transfer recorded this morning. To who? She hesitated. To Marlene Carter as sole authorized seller, then immediately to Elliot Pierce. I almost smiled. Not because it was funny, because sometimes betrayal is so bold it becomes useful. Marlene had not just tried to sell my father's house. She had done it fast, too fast. Like speed could outrun ownership. Like grief had an expiration date and she had beaten the clock. My father had been gone 3 months, 91 days. That was all it took for the woman who cried the loudest at his funeral to put a price on the porch where he used to drink black coffee every morning. The house was a modest 2-story in Atlanta, not the kind of mansion people fight over in movies. It had red brick, white shutters, and a front step my father repaired himself every spring, even when it did not need fixing. He used to say, "A house tells on the people inside it." Loose hinges, dead grass, dirty windows. Those are confessions. Samuel Carter believed maintenance was a language. My mother, Evelyn, believed memory was. Together, they made that house feel less like property and more like proof that we had existed before the world started asking us for receipts. Noah learned to ride his bike in that driveway. Tasha got ready for prom in the upstairs bathroom with a curling iron that almost burned the sink. I learned how to make my father's coffee in that kitchen before I learned how to forgive people. And Marlene Carter learned something else in that house. She learned where Samuel kept his documents. At least she thought she did. The first time Marlene entered our family, she entered quietly. She did not come in like a villain. Villains rarely do. As comfort, as someone bringing a casserole when grief has made the stove feel too heavy. My mother had been dead for 7 years when my father married Marlene. He was lonely in a way proud men do not confess. He still kept Evelyn's scarf folded in the top drawer of his dresser, and he still corrected people when they said he had moved on. I did not move on, he told me once. I moved forward. There is a difference. Marlene knew how to stand beside a man who was moving forward. At first, I wanted to like her. That was my flaw. I kept giving people credit for who they pretended to be when they were tired, grieving, or trying to be loved. I thought if someone showed softness once, then cruelty later must be stress. I thought if someone cooked for you, called you baby, and learned your father's medicine schedule, then maybe she had earned a place at the table. My problem was never that I trusted people. My problem was that I kept trusting them after they showed me the receipt. Marlene was careful in the beginning. She called Noah, son, when my father was listening. She asked Tasha about work. She told me my mother must have been beautiful because Samuel still talks like she just stepped into another room. That line got me. I hated that it got me, because it sounded respectful. It sounded like a woman who understood that love did not begin with her. My father smiled when she said it. A tired smile. A grateful one. And because I loved him, I tolerated her. That is how some people get access. They do not earn your trust directly. They borrow it from somebody you love. The first warning came at Sunday dinner. It was small. So small I almost embarrassed myself for noticing. My father had always kept a brown leather folder in the bottom drawer of the dining room cabinet. Insurance documents, old tax papers, my mother's death certificate, the original deed to the house. He did not trust digital copies for important things. He used to say, "Paper remembers with a backbone." That Sunday, I saw Marlene open the cabinet and move the folder. Not steal it, not hide it, just move it from the bottom drawer to the sideboard. When she saw me watching, she smiled. "Your father asked me to organize some things." I looked at my father. He was in the kitchen with Noah, laughing about something on the grill. I told myself not to be dramatic. That night, Marlene sent me home with leftovers in a plastic container and kissed my cheek like a woman with nothing to hide. That was the first swing. Suspicion, then comfort. A missing folder, then warm peach cobbler. The mind wants peace so badly it will accept dessert as evidence. 2 weeks later, my name disappeared from a family group text about repairs to the house. Noah called me. "Did you know they're replacing the gutters?" Number I thought Dad would tell you. He doesn't forget house stuff. That was true. My father could forget where he put his glasses while wearing them, but he never forgot house repairs. When I asked him later, he sounded confused. Marlene said she messaged everybody. She didn't message me. There was a pause, then he said, "I'll talk to her." The next morning, Marlene sent me a sweet message. "Viola, baby, I'm so sorry. I thought I added you. You know these phones confuse me. Please forgive me." 3 heart emojis. 1 praying hands emoji. 1 lie wearing perfume. I forgave her because my father was alive, and while a parent is alive, you still believe the family can be managed. You still think there will be time. Time to ask questions. Time to correct things. Time to sit at the kitchen table and say, "Daddy, something feels wrong." But time is arrogant. It acts abundant till it sends an invoice. My father died on a Tuesday morning, heart attack. Fast enough that the doctors called it mercy. Slow enough that Noah still blamed himself for not answering the phone. At the funeral, Marlene wore black lace and leaned on Raymond Carter. My father's younger brother, like grief, had made her bones disappear. Raymond did not like Marlene. He never had. He did not say much, but he had the kind of silence that carried a verdict. Brianna, Raymond's daughter, stood beside me near the flowers and whispered, "Auntie Evelyn would have hated this." I knew what she meant. Not the funeral, the performance. Marlene cried every time someone looked at her. But when no one was watching, her face rested too quickly. Grief leaves people hollow. Marlene looked busy. After the burial, we gathered at the house on Briar Glen Road. People brought food. Church women cleaned the kitchen without being asked. Tasha sat on the stairs staring at nothing. Noah stood in the backyard with his tie loose and his fists opening and closing, like he wanted to fight God and could not find the address. Marlene moved from room to room accepting condolences. "My Samuel," she kept saying. "My Samuel, my Samuel." By the 4th time, Raymond's jaw tightened. By the 5th, he walked outside. I found him near the oak tree my father had planted when Tasha was born. "Your father told me something last year," Raymond said. I looked at him. He said if anything happened to him, you were supposed to check the old toolbox in the garage. The toolbox. Raymond nodded. He said you'd know what to do. I did not know what to do. That was the point. Sometimes the dead leave instructions in pieces because the living are surrounded by thieves. I went to the garage after everyone left. The toolbox sat behind a stack of paint cans. Red metal scratched handle. My father's initials written on the side in black marker. SE inside were rusted nails, measuring tape, a wrench, and an envelope wrapped in a plastic freezer bag. My name was written on it, Viola. My hands went cold. Inside was the original deed. Not a copy. The original deed. There was also a handwritten note from my father. "Baby girl, if you are reading this, I am gone or somebody got impatient. The house belongs to my children. Do not let anybody tell you grief changes ownership. Call Malcolm Hayes. Trust Raymond. Watch Marlene. Love Noah before he does something loud. Tell Tasha I knew she was stronger than she thought. Your mother wanted this house to stay with you." Dad, I sat on the garage floor and cried without sound. Because that note did what death had not done yet. It made him gone. For 3 months, I kept that deed in a fireproof folder in my apartment. I called attorney Malcolm Hayes the next business day. He had handled my father's estate planning years earlier. His voice was careful when I told him what I had found. "Viola," he said, "your father came to me about this. He was concerned about Marlene," a pause. "About pressure." That was lawyer language. Pressure meant Marlene had been asking questions. Pressure meant documents had been discussed. Pressure meant my father had seen smoke before the fire. Malcolm explained that my father had executed documents preserving the house for his children. With a life interest arrangement that allowed Marlene to remain in the home under conditions, but did not give her authority to sell the property outright without the named heirs. Named heirs meme. Noah. Tasha, not Marlene alone. Not Elliot Pierce. Not anyone with a fresh printer and a fake sense of entitlement. Malcolm told me to stay calm. I almost laughed. People always tell the person holding the truth to stay calm. They rarely tell the liar to stop moving. For a while, nothing happened. That was Marlene's talent. She made silence feel like resolution. She invited us over for dinner once. She cried at the table and said she felt alone in the house. Noah softened. Tasha offered to help with bills. I watched Marlene dab her eyes with a napkin and thank us for being Samuel's beautiful children. Then she said, "I think your father would want us to avoid lawyers." There it was, a little sentence with a knife handle. I looked at her across the table. "Why?" she blinked. "Because family should not fight in court." I nodded slowly. Family should not steal outside of it either. The room went quiet. Noah looked at me. Tasha whispered, "Viola." Marlene's face changed for half a second. Not enough for everyone to catch. Enough for me. Then she smiled. "I know grief makes people suspicious." And just like that, she controlled the narrative. I was not cautious. I was not protecting my father's wishes. I was suspicious. That was Marlene's favorite trick. She never argued against the fact. She argued against your emotional fitness to notice it. For the next month, she isolated us slowly. She told Noah I was trying to control everything. She told Tasha I thought she was weak. She told Raymond that the children were turning on her. She told church friends that I was making estate matters ugly. By the time the betrayal became public, she had already prepared the audience. The explosion happened at the house. A Saturday afternoon. Marlene called it a family meeting. When I arrived, there were strangers in the living room. A woman in a cream blazer, a man in a navy suit, a younger assistant holding a tablet. Noah was already there, standing near the fireplace. Tasha sat on the couch, pale. Raymond stood by the window. Brianna was beside him, arms crossed. Marlene stood in the middle of the room like a widow queen receiving guests. "Viola," she said gently, "thank you for coming." I looked at the strangers. "Who are they?" The woman stepped forward. "Pamela Greer. I'm the listing agent." "Listing agent for what?" Noah's head snapped toward me. Tasha closed her eyes. Marlene sighed as if I had disappointed her in front of company. "For the house, baby. The house, not my father's house. Not the Carter house. The house. That is how thieves rename things before taking them." I looked around the living room. My mother's old piano was still against the wall. My father's framed army photo was still on the shelf. The carpet still had the faint dark mark from where Noah spilled grape juice at 12 and blamed the dog we did not own. Pamela Greer smiled professionally. "Mrs. Carter has accepted an offer. We're just here to finalize access details and prepare for closing." "Mrs. Carter does not have authority to sell this house," I said. Marlene pressed a hand to her chest. "Viola, please, not in front of people." There it was again. Make the truth look rude. Make theft look private. Make the person objecting seem unstable. The man in the navy suit cleared his throat. "I'm Elliot Pierce, the buyer. I was told all family matters have been settled." Noah stepped forward. "They have not." Marlene turned to him. "Noah, your father trusted me." "No," Raymond said from the window. "Samuel loved you. That is not the same thing." Marlene's eyes flashed. Then she did something brilliant. She cried, not messy crying. Controlled crying. A few tears, soft voice, wounded posture. I took care of that man when everyone else had lives. I was here for the doctor visits. I was here for the medication. I was here when he could barely sleep. And now his children come into my home and treat me like a criminal. My home, my home. Noah moved, but I touched his arm. Love Noah before he does something loud. My father knew us too well. I did not scream. Not because I had nothing to say. Because the truth had not finished loading. I looked at Pamela Greer. Has a title search been completed? She blinked. Preliminary, yes. Did it include the estate documents? Marlene cut in. Viola, stop this. Did it include the recorded restrictions on transfer? Pamela's confidence thinned. Elliot Pierce looked at her. What restrictions? Marlene's face hardened. That was the first crack. But I did not pull out the deed then. Not in that living room. Not while Marlene was still performing grief beneath my father's roof. Revenge is timing. Expose too early and people call it anger. Expose at the right moment and people call it evidence. So I said only one thing. I'll see you at closing. Marlene laughed under her breath. You are not invited to closing. I looked at her. That's what makes it interesting. The emotional low point came that night. Tasha called me crying. She told me Dad changed everything because you were irresponsible. I sat on the edge of my bed. What? Marlene said Dad was worried about you. She said he thought you would try to control the house and push everyone out. My chest tightened. That lie hurt more than the sale. Because Marlene had not only tried to steal the house, she had tried to steal my father's opinion of me. That is a different kind of violence. You can replace a lock. You can challenge a deed. But when someone lies about what the dead thought of you, they are digging in a grave with clean hands. Tasha, I said, Dad left me a note. She went quiet. What note? I'll show you. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was trying to protect everybody until I knew what Marlene was doing. Tasha cried harder. That was the night I stopped asking. Why would she do this to us? I started asking, what can I prove? The next morning, I built a folder. Not a revenge folder. A truth folder. There is a difference. Truth walks in with page numbers. I had the original deed. I had my father's handwritten note. I had photographs of the toolbox. I had time-stamped pictures from the day I found the envelope. Attorney Malcolm Hayes provided copies of the estate documents, including my father's signed instructions, notarized and dated. Raymond gave a written statement confirming my father told him about the toolbox before he died. Brianna sent me a video from the funeral reception. In the background, Marlene could be seen removing a stack of folders from the dining room cabinet and placing them in a tote bag while guests were in the kitchen. Noah found a text message Marlene had sent him 2 weeks after the funeral. Your father wanted me to simplify things. The house paperwork is too complicated for everyone right now. Trust me. Tasha found an email where Marlene had told her, Viola is making this harder because she never accepted your father's new life. That one made me sit still for a minute. Because Marlene had studied us. She knew Noah could be triggered with injustice. She knew Tasha could be triggered with guilt. She knew I could be triggered with dignity. So she framed me as the problem and herself as the widow. It almost worked. Then Celia Warren from the recorder's office called me. Her voice was lower than before. Miss Carter, I cannot give legal advice, but you asked me to flag unusual recording activity connected to the property. There was a corrective affidavit submitted late yesterday. By who? Marlene Carter. My hand tightened around the phone. What did it correct? A pause. It appears to assert that Samuel Carter's prior estate documents were revoked. I closed my eyes. Marlene had overplayed her hand. People like Marlene do not stop at one lie. They keep feeding the lie until it gets too fat to run. Can I get a certified copy? I asked. Yes. Thank you, Miss Warren, Miss Carter. Yes. That was the mystery ping becoming a bell. A corrective affidavit after a sale offer. A revoked document no one had seen. A notary stamp from a county my father had not visited in years. Marlene had not just sold the house. She had created paperwork to bury the original. The closing was scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m. in a glass conference room at Peachtree Title and Escrow. I arrived at 9:42. Noah came with me. He wore a gray suit, and the expression of a man obeying his dead father's final instruction through clenched teeth. Tasha came too, holding Evelyn's old silver bracelet in her palm like a rosary. Raymond and Brianna arrived together. Attorney Malcolm Hayes met us outside the building. He carried one leather briefcase. Only one. That is how I knew he was dangerous. Lawyers who need to scare you bring boxes. Lawyers who already have the kill shot bring one briefcase. Remember, he said, let them speak first. Noah exhaled through his nose. I hate that part. I know, Malcolm said. That's why it works. Inside, Marlene was already seated. Pamela Greer sat beside her, flipping through documents. Elliot Pierce was across the table with his own attorney. A title officer sat at the head. Marlene looked surprised to see us. Then she recovered. Viola, she said softly, this is inappropriate. I sat down. Number this is recorded. Not loudly, but everyone sat differently. The title officer looked at Malcolm. And you are? Malcolm Hayes, counsel for the Carter heirs. Carter heirs, not grieving children, not difficult stepchildren, heirs. One word can put a spine back into a room. Marlene laughed once. There are no Carter heirs involved in this transaction. Samuel left the property to me. Malcolm opened his briefcase, not rushed, not dramatic, just calm enough to make guilt nervous. Could you show us the document establishing that? Marlene slid a copy across the table. This is the affidavit. Malcolm read it. He did not react. That irritated her. Liars want shock. Shock tells them the lie landed. Malcolm gave her nothing. He placed the affidavit down. This document states that Samuel Carter revoked his prior estate instructions on the 14th of March of last year. Yes, and signed the revocation in the presence of a notary in Savannah. Yes, Malcolm looked at me, then at Noah, then back at Marlene. Samuel Carter was hospitalized in Atlanta on the 14th of March of last year. Marlene blinked. The first visible fracture. No, he was not. Malcolm removed one page from his folder. Northside Hospital admission record. Time stamped 6:12 a.m. discharge the 16th of March. Cardiology unit. Elliot Pierce's attorney leaned forward. Pamela Greer stopped flipping pages. Marlene's mouth tightened. That must be a mistake. Malcolm nodded. Interesting. The notary made one too. He placed another document down. The notary commission number on your affidavit belongs to a woman named Patricia Lowell. She retired 8 months before this alleged signing. The room went silent. Not the soft silence of confusion. The hard silence of consequence. Marlene looked at Pamela. Pamela looked away. Then Marlene tried the old door. Emotion. I cannot believe Samuel's children would do this to me. Noah shifted. I touched his wrist under the table. Not yet. Marlene turned to Elliot Pierce. I have been harassed for months. Viola has never accepted me. She hated that her father remarried. That lie had carried her this far. So I let it walk one more step. Then I opened my folder. I did not hate that my father remarried, I said. I hated that you waited until he died to rewrite him. I placed the original deed on the table. The paper did not argue. It only existed. Malcolm slid certified copies beside it. Original deed. Estate preservation document. Transfer restrictions. Carter heirs named. Viola Carter. Noah Carter. Tasha Carter. Life occupancy provision for Marlene Carter under conditions. No unilateral sale authority granted. The title officer picked up the document. Elliot Pierce stood halfway from his chair. Are you telling me she cannot sell this house? Malcolm looked at him. I am telling you she never could. Marlene's face changed. No tears now, no widow voice, no soft hands, just calculation looking for an exit. This is family business, she said. There it was. When the lie benefits them, it is legal. When the proof exposes them, it becomes private. No, I said, family business was Sunday dinner. This is title fraud. Pamela Greer whispered, Marlene, what did you give me? Marlene snapped. What you asked for. No, Pamela said, voice shaking. I asked for authority to sell. And I gave it to you. You gave me a false affidavit. The title officer pushed back from the table. We are suspending this closing immediately. Marlene stood. Samuel wanted me taken care of. Raymond finally spoke. Samuel wanted you housed, not handed a blank check. Marlene turned on him. You never liked me. No, Raymond said. I never trusted you. Today I appreciate my consistency. Brianna lowered her head, but I saw her smile. Marlene looked at Tasha next, aiming for the softest place. Tasha, baby, tell them. Your father would not want this. Tasha's fingers closed around Evelyn's bracelet. My father would not want his wife forging papers over his grave. That was the moment Marlene lost the room. Not when Malcolm showed the hospital record. Not when the notary stamp collapsed. Not when the deed appeared. She lost when the daughter she thought was easiest to bend stood upright. Villains always miscalculate the quiet ones. They mistake gentleness for available space. Elliot Pierce's attorney requested copies of everything. Pamela Greer began sending emails with trembling hands. The title officer called someone from compliance. Marlene asked to speak to me privately. That was the collapse. Not screaming, not drama. Just a woman who had spent months making public lies suddenly begging for a private exit. No, I said. One syllable. Clean. My father used to say the strongest locks are simple. Malcolm informed the room that we would be filing to void the attempted transfer, notify the recorder's office, and preserve all documents for potential civil and criminal review. Civil and criminal. Marlene sat down slowly. Her face had gone pale under the makeup. For the first time since my father died, she looked like a woman without a script. The public reversal did not happen in the living room where she humiliated us. It happened at the closing table where she expected to profit from it. Same house, same Eli, different witnesses. That is poetic justice. Not revenge with fire, revenge with fluorescent lights, certified copies, and a title officer who suddenly refused to make eye contact with the thief. 2 weeks later, the attempted sale was voided. The corrective affidavit was challenged. The title company opened an internal review. Pamela Greer sent a written apology through her broker. Elliot Pierce withdrew his offer and, to his credit, wanted nothing more to do with the property. Marlene was ordered to vacate after evidence showed she had violated the conditions of her occupancy by attempting an unauthorized sale. She did not leave gracefully. People like Marlene rarely do. She told church friends we had thrown her out. She told neighbors we were greedy. She told anyone who would listen that Samuel's children had abandoned his widow. But something had changed. This time, her story had competition. Raymond told the truth. Tasha told the truth. Noah, God bless him, told the truth with too much volume, but at least he told it. And I did what my father taught me. I let the paperwork speak. A month after Marlene left, we went back to Briar Glen Road. The house smelled stale at first. Closed curtains, dust on the hallway table. A faint perfume in the air that did not belong to my mother and never would. Tasha opened the windows. Noah fixed the back door lock. Raymond checked the garage like he expected Samuel to walk out from behind the paint cans and tell him he was holding the flashlight wrong. Brianna found an old photo album in the upstairs closet, and I stood in the kitchen. The same kitchen where my father taught me that coffee should be strong enough to make weak men nervous. The same kitchen where my mother Evelyn used to hum while cutting onions. The same kitchen where Marlene had sat across from us and called theft grief. I placed my father's deed on the table. Not because I needed to, because some things deserve to come home. Noah came in quietly. You okay? I nodded. He leaned against the counter. I almost ruined it. Yes, he looked at me. I shrugged. You wanted honesty. He laughed a little, then his face softened. Dad really wrote that? Love Noah before he does something loud? I handed him the note. He read it 3 times. On the 3rd, his eyes filled. He knew. He knew all of us. Tasha came in and read over his shoulder. When she reached her line, she covered her mouth. Tell Tasha I knew she was stronger than she thought. That was my father, even dead, still raising us. Raymond stepped into the doorway. For a second, he looked so much like Samuel that my chest hurt. He would be proud, he said. I looked at the deed. No, I said softly. He would be annoyed it took this many documents. Raymond smiled. That too. We did not sell the house. Not to prove a point. We cleaned it. We repaired the porch. We changed the locks. We put Evelyn's photo back on the mantel where it belonged. And on the first Sunday after everything settled, we had dinner there. No performance, no fake widow tears. No strangers measuring rooms for profit. Just Carter voices in a Carter house. Noah burned the chicken. Tasha oversalted the greens. Brianna brought store, bought pie, and tried to pretend she made it. Raymond said Samuel would haunt us over the state of the gutters. For the first time in months, grief sat at the table without being used as a weapon. That is what people like Marlene never understand. A house is not valuable because someone can sell it. A house is valuable because someone loved you inside it before the world taught you to defend yourself. Marlene thought the deed was just paper. She thought the house was just brick. She thought silence meant we were confused. But silence was where my father hid the map. And paperwork was where the truth waited patiently. They thought grief would make us forget. They thought family love would make us soft. They thought selling my father's house would end the story. But my father left the original deed. And Marlene learned too late that some houses do not belong to the person holding the keys. They belong to the people named in the truth.